Are you ready?
I was born ready.
Welcome everybody to episode 4 of the Stock Guy and Alex Show, a brand new podcast that covers topics around the world: business, news, markets, money, sports. If people are talking about it, then so are we. What's up, dude?
See that smirk, because you know I'm coming in hot today.
He's got this comment that he's been trying to make for about 45 minutes and he won't make it, but he's been waiting until we're live.
It wasn't a comment I was trying to make. I said, you asked me how I was doing when we were doing the pre-show, and I said, I feel like I got punched in the stomach. And you said, why? I said, I'll explain it on the podcast. So there's a meme on my channel.
Real quick. The Stock Guy and Alex Show can be watched, listened, and viewed on YouTube. It can be also downloaded and listened to wherever podcasts are downloaded. Follow the show on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and all the other major socials for clips, moments, and information about new episodes. Hey, Stocky, how you feeling today?
Yeah, it's not okay. All right, so there's a meme on my channel where I always find winning plays. I have a knack for finding winning stock trades, but I always sell too early. Like, I'll make my money, I'll get out, and then it'll go to the moon, right? So a few weeks ago, Bed Bath & Beyond, which has been a meme stock, fell off a cliff. And I was like, we got to buy this dip. I got to buy this dip because we're going into retail season, and, this is going to gain some of that money back. So I bought options, right? I bought some $16 calls for January, and I bought them for like $2,000 worth. And I was like, okay, cool, I'll hang on to this. It was just flatlining. I think it was down like 5 or 6%, and I just was like, all right. And the other day, on last week, I sold them, and I was like, you know what? I need this capital somewhere. I'll just sell them here, use it, and then buy them back by the end of the day. No problem. Forgot to do it. Still no problem. Then today, and half my community shadow trades me, so they're all in it still. Then today, as the market closes, they announced they are doing a $1 billion buyback.
Wow.
That's like more than half of their entire market cap. They're buying back the shares. The shares went up, as of right now, 80% after hour. My $2,000 tomorrow morning would be worth, if I held it, would be worth between $20,000 to $50,000 in a couple hours. So, yes, I feel like I got punched in the stomach.
I saw a tweet from you that said, we just made some people a lot of money. Didn't you just tweet that out?
I said, I think I just accidentally made a few people rich.
Yeah, that's what you said. I think I just accidentally made a few people rich. BBBY. Man, yeah, for all these little anecdotes that you share about that, I mean, you're up on all these other plays, though. I mean, at the end of the day, you're up. You're netting
a good year. I had a good run last year. I did an account challenge where I started with $10,000, and I had to trade like without day trading, because it's under 25 until I got there. And I was able to go from 10,000 to 140,000 in 12 months. So that was 1,400% return. Now, granted, it was one of the greatest bull runs in history. So I do good. I do okay. I have losers too. I just try to cut them early. But every now and then, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. But I still got a lot of other plays. I'm still up 600% on my HUT calls. So that's okay. So we're going to be all right. And, another day goes on. But
that's what I'm saying. You net positive. You net positive, and the anecdotes are anecdotes. And I feel like everybody has their own little anecdote of buying.
Got their bad beat story in poker and stocks. And you know what? Here's the thing. I trade, but I'm an investor first. 90% of my money's in long-term stuff, but the big winner for me right now is crypto miners, because instead of getting into specific coins, I like to invest in the miners because I like to be in the technology behind it. I always say, instead of playing in the casino, why not own the casino? But speaking of coins, we got Bitcoin, we got Ethereum, they're running. Have you kept up with Shiba Inu coin?
What's behind Shiba Inu coins? I know I was going to mess that up.
I was calling it Shiba Inu for a while.
Yeah, like I knew when I read it like 3 or 4 times. People have been talking about Shiba. People have been calling it Shibu. You know what I mean? So what's behind the Shiba Inu coin's stunning rise, up 777% in 30 days? I've been tracking it as far as people have been talking to me about it, but I haven't been tracking it as far as I'm invested in it. What's been going on with Shiba?
Well, I mean, first of all, now that everybody knows about it, normally in stocks, especially when there's a meme, I always say when the normies know it's time to go, right? Like everybody
That's like
knows.
a buy the rumor, sell the news type of thing.
Yeah, but more like that. But in this case, it's a coin that, you know, 0.0000001 cent. Full disclosure, my brother-in-law, who's in India, put like $1,000 into it, and now he's up to like $10,000. And I'm telling him, dude, you need to get out. But he's not going to listen because I told him he probably should have got out, you know, a while ago, and it's still going up. So he's not going to listen. But, you know, it's gone up a couple million% over the past year. There's one guy out there who bought $8,000 worth of that coin a year ago, and it's now worth $3.7 billion. Billion. He's turned 8,000 into $3.7 billion.
How many coins are there?
A lot. But here's the thing. He's screwed because he can't sell them. If he were to try to sell all of them, he would crash the market. So he's worth $3.5 billion.
Well, he's not screwed because he's going to come out on top. He's going to come out in over 8K somehow. In some way, shape, or form, he's coming out over 8K.
Sell them. He could probably sell $100,000 a day, and not affect the market too much. But imagine the diamond hands you have to have. When I have $8,000 and I'm sitting at $100,000, you think I'm holding that?
Yeah, you let that go. You sell it.
Okay, let's say you're the guy who's like, you know what, I'm still gonna hold it. It gets to $1 million in like, you go from 8,000 to $1 million. You don't sell that. $100 million. Yeah, there's no way you're still holding. This guy is still holding at $3.7 billion.
Wait, what do you mean? He's still holding and he says, I'm not going to let it go?
No, I just don't think he knows what to do. I think he's just confused and he's like wondering how he can sell it, if he can sell it. I hope he got a lawyer and an accountant and everything, because, you know, you don't want to be. I mean, this is amazing. And the next meme coin will come, and, you know, there's a big battle between Doge and Shiba Inu, which is the dog that's actually behind the Doge, and it's all kinds of crazy stuff. But he's in a position right now, which I'm sure it's not a bad position to be in, but I'm just trying to think how you hold that long and what's going through this guy's head right now. I mean, let me ask you this. You know, let's just say theoretically speaking, you didn't sell when you were up big and you're still holding a $3.7 billion. What does Alex do?
So the first thing I would do is go talk to someone who knows what the hell they're doing and figure out how I can offload this stuff. You know what I mean? Because it's like when you start moving around that much money, people are like, hey, what the hell's going on? Right? I mean, like, you can withdraw stuff from the bank, but if you try to withdraw like 20 grand from the bank or something like that, and the bank's going to have a problem with that. Say, hey, you can't just do that. Like, we monitor our cash. So, I mean, when you're talking about 3.7 billion, and I mean, that's just a story of a consumer, you know, at a consumer bank. 3.7 billion, I got to go talk to someone who knows what the hell they're talking about. And I don't know who that is, but I'm just going to go to like a financial planner or somebody. I don't know. Who is there to talk to about this?
I mean, you know, it's crypto. It's the Wild West still in a lot of ways. There's no regulations. There's nothing like that. My thing is do you sell? Like, I mean, you're at 3.5 billion. Do you sell now and it goes to 7 billion, or do you hold and it goes down to 100 million? Like, does it matter? I mean, the guy's still holding it. Like, I have no idea what's going on. I would personally sell probably $10,000 a day every day until, you know, I've locked in $1 million, and then doesn't really matter because, you know, here's the thing. Regardless of what happens, you just don't want to be the person holding if it turns out to be a scam and goes to zero. Yeah, you don't want to be holding the bag.
And what I mean is, sure, you can withdraw that. You can withdraw the cash. There's obviously, if you need to withdraw your cash, you can withdraw your cash. But my point in that is that, you know, the eyes are on you when you're trying to convert any of these assets into, you know, your liquid form. You know what I mean? The eyes are on you. So I don't know how much you'd be hit from a tax perspective. I don't know, man. 3.7 billion. That sounds like a good problem to have, though. Trying to figure out how to convert.
He's not going to be able to offload that in any short term, you know, whatever. He's going to have to sell it. I'm not talking about him withdrawing from the bank. I'm just talking about him. No.
I mean, converting that, figuring out how to somehow turn that into cash for yourself. I mean, that's pretty.
Just put it back into your brokerage, I guess.
This article on Fortune.com says, "Would you believe it?" Well, it starts off with a little quippy. It says, what has a bigger market cap than General Mills, HP, or Nokia? Would you believe it's dog-themed currency Shiba Inu? It's true. After a crazy run, Shiba Inu now has a market cap of $38.5 billion. As Chris Morris wrote for fortune. The crypto that was long dismissed as a joke is up 777% in the past 30 days and hit an all-time high Wednesday amid talk that Robinhood might be considering listing it. See, Robinhood doesn't even list it. I tried to look for it on Robinhood the other day. And
there's a million meme coins out there, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because I did an entire YouTube video on it, but Robinhood may almost be forced to at some point just to keep revenue, because the revenue, when Dogecoin was going crazy, Robinhood said that like something like 60% of their revenue came from Dogecoin transactions alone. And they just had earnings this past week, and they said that their revenue from Dogecoin is down 80%. So people aren't trading it anymore. So if 61% of your entire company's revenue is from one coin and it's not doing it anymore, you got to get a new coin in. So, and if it does, then Jesus. I could see more people buying it. I could see more people buying it and actually jacking the price up.
60% of their revenue was coming from Doge trades?
There was a lot of Doge trades during that meme run.
There was a lot, man, but that's still a lot, 60%.
60% and down 80% of that is bad. But here's the thing about coins, and here's the crazy thing about coins. You just never know when, everybody says, oh, well, this one burns off and it has this, but coins are a dime a dozen. There's a million coins out there. And the problem is everybody wants to get into the next big one, but you never know if the next big one is the one that goes to zero. How would you feel if you put your money into a coin? It went up from $34 a coin to $2,000 a coin. You were in for $1,000 or $3,000, and now it's $28,000 or $280,000, and you think you're set. Worst case scenario, it comes back down, you sell, you're still up big. What would you do if you're watching that chart and it goes from $2,800 a coin to zero immediately?
I'd got to say there's some sort of criminal activity going on. I got to say there's someone is scamming you, or you just got robbed absolutely blind. Absolutely blind. Squid Game cryptocurrency scammers make off of 3.3 million. That's what Saki's talking about. A Squid Game cryptocurrency, like the levels of pop cultural, like an internet depth that you have to try to like use your mind to like wrap around what this is. Like imagine trying to explain this headline to someone 20 years ago. Squid Game cryptocurrency scammers make off of 3.3 million. That is a ridiculous headline to have. It says the Squid Coin scam was covered uncritically by mainstream news outlets. The anonymous hucksters behind a Squid Game cryptocurrency have officially pulled the rug on the project, making off with an estimated $3.38 million. Remember on Friday morning when Gizmodo told you it was an obvious scam? This is obviously a Gizmodo article. They're puffing their chest a little bit.
Monday morning quarterbacking.
Yep. And remember on Friday morning when Gizmodo told you it was an obvious scam? It was only obvious because investors could purchase the crypto but couldn't sell it. But plenty of people didn't get the warning in time. The Squid cryptocurrency peaked at a price of $2,861 before plummeting to zero around 5:40 a.m. Eastern time, according to the website CoinMarketCap. Jesus, man. It says this kind of theft, commonly called a rug pull by crypto investors, happens when the creators of the crypto quickly cash out their coins for real money, draining the liquidity of pool from the exchange. But I mean, they're selling what? Hype, and it's not illegal?
That's the thing. The best thing about crypto is that it's unregulated. The worst thing about crypto is that it's unregulated, right? So, it's its own worst enemy in a lot of cases. So there's going to be people in the comment section. I can see it right now. Well, it's different. Bitcoin and Doge and these guys, they actually have market caps, and there's blockchain and there's burn rate and there's a hash rate. Yeah, I get it. But this is the thing about something that's not regulated. Now, before we get into it, you think that's a crazy headline. Let me tell you something that is a factual piece of interesting trivia. One of the ladies in my community who's in our Discord, in our chat, and she's been there for a long time, was trading in Tesla and stuff like that, cashed out her Tesla, started doing some stuff, started mining Bitcoin, created her own coin. Have you heard of Cummies?
Spell it for me.
Cummies.
I haven't heard of Cummies, bro.
Cum Rocket, Cum Coin, whatever you want to call it. So she made this, and it actually, Elon Musk tweeted about it, and it ended up going insane. It ended up going up huge. And then when OnlyFans was shutting down, they were talking about using this coin for transactions for people that do adult content online. And Lyd is the girl who's in our community. She's the founder of it. And she's made a bunch of money on it. I mean, congrats to her for going out there and making something happen in a world of a million coins. She found it. So you never know what the name is. Now, back to Squid Game coin. I'm going to throw this out here. I don't know if we can call this a social experiment or if this is just what you get when you buy into something that you're not allowed to sell. Like, I mean, I don't know what goes through someone's mind. Like, I'm going to buy this coin based off of the name of a show, which, by the way, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, I'm going to throw this out here. The game, I'm not going to spoil the whole premise of the show, but part of the game is that there's a whole bunch of people who vie and the last person standing gets to keep all the money. Well, that's kind of what happened in real time here. Everybody invested, and one person pulled all the money and walked away, and everybody else died with it and with the coin. So, this is insane, and it shows the level of risk involved with getting into coins. But come on, how do you get into something called Squid Game that's 2 weeks old, that has a website full of typos, put your money in, and you can't sell it and then watch it go to zero? Like, you come on,
bro. People want to be, though. They want to have their get rich story off crypto. People want it so bad from a mix of like, oh, they actually want the real cash. They want to be involved in crypto because it's new and they don't want to miss the boat. And man,
all they had to do was buy Bed Bath & Beyond calls and hold one more day.
They just got to listen to you, right? Little Monday morning quarterback going on. Except this is after the fact.
I was looking
you actually did. You actually did. I guarantee it's all recorded in there. You probably made a lot of people a lot of money on that.
I'm watching. I'm in my Discord right now, looking at everybody in there talking about, oh my god, I held. Oh my god, I'm gonna have 1,000% return tomorrow. Oh my god, and then the other people saying, I can't believe I sold. I'm just sitting back like, oh my god.
Yo, shout out to those that held. Good work, ladies and gents. Anyway. Back to this Squid crypto coin. It says the Squid crypto coin was launched just last week and included plenty of red flags, including a 3-week-old website filled with bizarre spelling and grammatical errors. The website hosted at Squid Game.cash has disappeared, along with every other social media presence set up by the scammers. You can see the archived version of the website here. I don't mean to laugh because people lost real money and that sucks, but like, come on now. They
said no and left, man. They said, "Oh, okay, that's enough. We're out."
I mean, crypto entirely is mythical, right? I mean, all of it doesn't exist to most of us. I mean, I can tell you a little bit about blockchain, right, and the logic behind what blockchain is, but what the hell is any of this, man? What the hell is any of this?
I mean, NFTs, it's all, everybody wants to get rich quick, and regardless of if you think it's legit or not. That's what it is. But it's not like it hasn't been happening for years. It's just that stuff that people that were rich got to do, now the everyday person gets the opportunity to do. But here's the problem. Now that the normies know, it's easy to take advantage of them, right? It's like how MLMs and Ponzi schemes always went. When people are hurting or people are into something, it happens. Fine art is one of the greatest pieces of fraud in history, right? It's just been a way for really rich people to hide their money, and then when they're done hiding it, they need the money, they sell it to another rich person for even more money, and it keeps going up and up and up and up in value. It is what it is. I mean, a painting is a painting, but if people keep passing it around and buying it to hide their money, then the value just keeps going up, and it could go to zero at any time. You know what I mean?
What's interesting?
It is what it is.
What's interesting is this article says, I mean, most like everything in this world, they're trying to pin it on kind of one thing here. But like this article says on Gizmodo, it says that didn't stop mainstream, or it talks about the biggest red flag being that no one was able to sell. But then it says that didn't stop mainstream news outlets like BBC, Yahoo News, Business Insider, Fortune, and CNBC from running headlines about how the new Squid Game cryptocurrency had soared by 83,000% over just a few days. So they're basically trying to paint you a picture here, okay, that says all of the news outlets, they're the ones.
We tried to warn you.
Yeah, they're the ones that are going to say, hey, all these news outlets are just getting starstruck over the numbers, and don't listen to them anymore. Don't listen. That's obviously a little bit of Gizmodo trying to puff their own chest again. But I mean, to some extent, they're right. I mean, a lot of these news outlets are just like people that are just kind of like fast following or whatever. These writers want to be the ones that break the story on this, that, or the other on this new crypto. And so obviously everybody's saying, oh, look at this thing, it's soared 83,000%. Obviously, it doesn't sound like anybody here did their research, and it doesn't sound like anybody even knows who makes these damn coins. These people, I mean, they have 3.3 million in cash now. I don't think there's any recourse for this, right? There's no recourse for this.
I mean, there's not, because it's not regulated. But it's part of the future, right? Everything is the future, right? And I think that we'll see what happens with the next coin.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's part of the future. And we'll see what happens with the next coin. But I wanted to say, just real quick, that your description of the Squid Game coin and the way that they made out with the cash, that was a really meta description, right? It's really meta. I mean, that was a super meta. I mean, you got really, really deep on that one. So Squid Game, they're killing people in the show, and in the dang real life, they stole the money. It's meta, bro.
And what everybody else lost everything, and one person walked with the money, just like in the show. I thought it was almost poetic. But speaking of coins and the future and whatnot, imagine, we have a currency, we're not going to be using money, but we're going to be using digital currency in the future. Maybe it's coins. Maybe it's something in a little bit of something we call a metaverse. What is your thoughts on that?
Speaking of meta, with that clunky transition. Speaking of meta.
Oh, that's where you were going with that.
I was trying to toss you one. You. What's behind the Facebook Inc. name change to Meta? Bro, this was wild. This was absolutely wild. We spent a lot of time talking about this week. Basically since the news dropped. How long has it been since this news dropped? By the way, what day is right now? The 2nd that we're recording this on? Tuesday the 2nd? It was
on Friday that they had the announcement, right?
Friday, which is an interesting day to announce something like this, given that Friday is usually the PR dump day. Like, you basically, anything you don't want people to talk about, you put it on a Friday. There's no ignoring this, though. Facebook changing its name to Meta, and then also creating a platform called Metaverse, which is a separate thing, which is, right? I mean, because I saw a lot of people saying, oh, they're going to be called Metaverse, but Metaverse is that other little product that they're making. In fact, I need to get another link there. But you watched the whole thing, right?
Yeah, we watched the whole thing on my stream together, and as far as it's a lot to unpack here. The first part is the name change. So this was actually coordinated. It was very smart to do here. Facebook has been going through a PR nightmare when it comes to everything that happened with the Trump thing and anti-vax and flat earthers and misinformation, and they're always something, right? Facebook is always in, and now it's targeting kids and advertising. There's so much controversy. So from an investor standpoint, they're trying to protect their investors. They're basically doing what Google did, right? Like, we still know Google as Google, but Google is not the parent company. They changed their name from Google to Alphabet, and Alphabet is the umbrella company, and Google is is the major portion, but it's one of the companies under that umbrella. So Facebook is doing the same thing, right? So Facebook owns so many other companies. The big ones are like Instagram and WhatsApp, but they own hundreds and hundreds of companies. So instead of having Facebook as the name of the company, the ticker, the stock that it's traded under for investors, they're going to rename it Meta, and Facebook will be one of the companies under that umbrella. So it's smart to change the name, especially when you have PR like this. Plus, if Facebook screws up in the future, it won't directly impact the stock the same way because it has a different name. So I think it's smart. It makes sense. Now, as far as the Metaverse, all right, I'm gonna have to roll my sleeves up for this one. All right. First off, all they did was steal the plot line from
Ready Player One.
Surrogates, and then Ready Player One. They just stole that plot, and all they did is combine for that presentation VR chat and Roblox. So that's all they did. And I'm gonna be real with you. I had a conversation today with the CEO of a gaming company who's involved with this, and this technology isn't gonna happen. I mean, it's not in our lifetime. I mean, even if it is, it's not gonna be the same, because here's the thing. Based on that, it's like, oh, we can sit on our couch, put on a headset, and enjoy a concert with our friend who lives, across the country. Yeah, you can do that, but it's not the same. It's not the same. There's no senses. You don't get to hear it and smell it and touch it and taste it and do all that stuff like that. And until you get some way of like getting into a whole suit that you physically get to experience all the senses of it, it's not gonna matter. All you're doing is playing VR chat in the Roblox world. That's it. It's not anything that's gonna happen in our lifetime the way that they put it out there. Bro, I'm sorry.
I'm somewhere in between. So like the funny thing is like, there is a lot to unpack here. You're right. There's so much going on with this news. Obviously, the holding company switching to, or just the parent company to Meta. That's obviously their decision. They want Facebook just to be the app and just be the brand of that single platform. I don't know if you know how this goes, but like when you open up Instagram and it says like buy Facebook or whatever, or you open up WhatsApp and it says buy Facebook, I guess that's all going to change to buy Meta. Right. And like you saw, we had all those ads a couple years ago around the holidays for that product they had called Portal. I don't even know if they're still investing any cash in that. They probably are. But I mean, I don't see the ad blitz the way that they used to have. But I wonder if
we bring back MySpace.
I wonder. Yeah, I mean, I wonder who owns the brand of that. By the way, he would be smart to try to procure that and then do something kind of kitschy with it. But I mean, that's also kind of like what else I'm getting to here is like, I wonder how out of touch he is with the world, like the normal, like the real world, like the real social world of people. Or I wonder if he's like super in touch with it and he's just a genius here. And this is going to be, I mean, I don't know. I can't tell you for sure if the metaverse is going to be a thing or not. I can't tell you if adoption on that's going to be great, going to be poor, if that's going to change in 30 years. Whatever. It's crazy technology that none of us understand.
He's bored. That's all it is. When you have that much money, let me tell you something. I don't know how much time you spend around very, very wealthy people, but the biggest problem that very, very wealthy people have is boredom. You can only go to so many restaurants, go on so many trips, and go to so many things before you've just done everything.
Well, that's what I mean. So that's what I mean by him be like. I wonder how out of touch he is with real social life, right? Like real life on this planet. That 99.
He missed out on the space thing. He missed out on the space thing with Elon, Richard Branson, and Jeff Bezos. Okay, and so he's got to do something, right? So he's like, well, they're going to space. I'll bring space here. I'm gonna be the one who is known for. I think that's what it is. I think he's bored. I think he doesn't have anything to do. He needs something, and this is his pet project.
Some people are too curmudgeon-y about this, though, and what I mean by that is when I read Twitter and everyone's just like, dumb idea. A terrible idea, and they just want to burn it to the ground immediately before they even think past 15 seconds after they read a headline. Like, while yes, this doesn't sound like something we would use today, I think too many people are kind of taking a too curmudgeon-y approach. A lot of people that loved the movie Ready Player One.
They're scared. People are scared. People are afraid of change.
They love people love this movie, Ready Player One, right? I don't know what its score is on all these websites, but the sentiment around Ready Player One was great. Everyone I talked to about it said, "Oh, yeah, I love this movie." But everybody I read about on Twitter about it said that they hated this idea of the metaverse. I'm like, bro, it's the exact same thing. Like, you can't like the movie and hate the idea. I mean, you can. It's a free world. You can do whatever you want. I'm just the guy talking right now. But I mean, the idea that you would wholly reject the metaverse, but watch the movie or read the book Ready Player One and be like, oh man, this was great. I love this. Those two things conflict. So part of me wonders if it's just people hate Zuckerberg and they think he's a robot.
First of all, nobody reads books, but no, it's a combination. Number one, people think Facebook is a boomer platform. They think Zuckerberg is out of touch alien lizard robot, right? And they want to find a reason to hate anything that Facebook does, right? So that's number one. Number two, the way they presented it looked like a stupid Roblox commercial, and people were like, this isn't something as an adult I care about. Now, as far as future implementation, it's absolutely the future. And we're already seeing it. Why do you think live streaming is so big? Why do you think it's growing? Because people don't want to go out and socialize. They want to stay in their house, socialize, but not have to dress up, go out, spend money, and be in those social situations. Now, whether that's by design or by accident, I don't know, but that's why live streaming and communities online are growing. Now, it's gotten so bad that we're seeing population declines, right? We're seeing population declines all across the developing world, and underdeveloped countries are going to be the ones that continue to grow. I mean, we're reversing. We've talked about this on the podcast before. We're literally reversing birth rates in a lot of places. In Japan, it's gotten so much that people are away from each other and doing things through online and VR that they had to create a minister of loneliness, right? They literally had to create a government official to tackle loneliness. So it is the future. I think some people are just afraid of the future. They're confused of it. I think the presentation was bad, and I think everybody just wanted to find a reason to hate Zuckerberg and Facebook. But yeah, I mean,
so the Zuckerberg, but like a last thing before we switch topics, but like Zuckerberg, the interesting thing about Facebook or Meta or whatever you want to, whatever we're gonna naturally start calling it, like what this company Zuckerberg that he started, and obviously it's been well documented how he started it. Like his whole thing is around connecting people, like he wants to bring people together, right? Isn't that what he keeps on saying? Like bring people together. That's what Meta is about. And it's a guy that seems like he's just so out of touch with how people actually get along in this world. And that's what I'm saying is like, that's what it seems like. The meme on the internet is to say he's a robot. He's an alien. He's crazy. I mean, the Sweet Baby Ray's thing, I don't understand. Did you say? I mean,
you don't understand. Of course you understand. It's a meme.
I get it from the video he did, but why is he leaning into it?
Meats.
Why? Yeah, smoking these meats. And I don't know why he's leaning into it, man. The video's hilarious.
Someone else did it. I get. You know what's probably what happened? There's probably some production assistant or some intern there who was like made a bet with his buddies who's like, I'm gonna put this in the background. No, you won't. I bet you won't. I will. Watch this. And he probably put it up there last minute when they were like fixing it. No one had any clue as they filmed it, and then it just like either nobody noticed it or they left it in because they thought it was funny. I don't think that Zuckerberg did that on purpose. I think that either someone did that and didn't tell him, or it was done as a prank or as like a dare.
Bro, because it takes some. That is comedic. That is comedic presence right there. That is some comedic. There's some level of emotional intelligence that you would have to be like, bro, the entire internet raked me over the coals because I did a ridiculous live stream around smoking them meats, and now there's a freaking Sweet Baby Race thing here in our announcement video for our platform name change. It's either what you said, or again, it could be Zuckerberg just being like actually so smart, man, actually emotionally so aware and so present.
I don't think he is. I think that he's so like caught up in what he's doing his projects that's not something that he would think of for a launch of the biggest name change and his biggest thing in his company's history. Like, I don't see that, but either way, it was hilarious. Now, the last thing I want to get on with the Metaverse thing before we move on is I honestly, and this is not a joke, I honestly think that this thing will come to the next level when you can incorporate sex with it. When you can make it to where you have some kind of like either like robot or machine or bodysuit or something where you can make people actually feel and stimulate and have sex in a virtual world, then it'll change. Now,
can't you theoretically, you and I could basically say, hey, look at these products that exist in the market and look at the technology. That's probably like what, a year away? All you need is a VR headset. And what are those things called? You might need a VR headset and
but that you've got to do work, and you don't feel everything. I mean, look at it this way: Japan and other Asian countries are seeing men and women not get married and be distance from each other. They're also the ones that invented and have the most functional sex robots right now. So maybe it's that. But let's be honest. Can I be honest with you, as guys? All right, this is gonna be real controversial, and you're probably gonna have to edit it out. I don't know, but let me tell you this
get
right
ready.
now.
Ryan, just get ready.
I always say that if there were no women on this planet, like men, we literally do everything in our lives because of sexual drive. It's who we are. It's evolutionary. We want to be have the most cars and the most property and be the biggest and the baddest and have the most things because it attracts the opposite sex so we can get off. If there was no women and there was no reason, every guy on the planet would live in a shack down by a river or a lake or a beach, fishing, drinking beer, and that's it.
There were no women we'd blow it. There'd be no planet. We'd blow each other up.
I'm just saying if all the women disappeared tomorrow, then men would just stop doing everything. And why would you work 80 hours a week to be, so successful and have money and be the alpha and be the best? Because it attracts. It's an evolutionary thing that we have. It's been since the caveman times. So if you all of a sudden introduce like that and where you could have all that but not have the other parts of relationships, which love you, babe. You why would you? You know what I mean? I'd stay in my house and I'd play video games, drink beer, and bang my sex robot. That's all I would do. You know what I mean? Like, that would be my life. I'm just saying. Now, we're not there yet, but...
No, you have to buy that probably with a coin called cummies. You'd probably have to still go out and work and stuff in order to get the cummies that you need to buy that.
Once you get that robot and you incorporate the metaverse, I mean, and you know what's crazy is you wouldn't even need women because you could just choose your avatar and maybe you're banging a guy. I don't know.
Listen, you could do it's not about. It's not, to your point, it's just about the sexual drive. Doesn't matter what it is. People will find anything in that virtual space. Leave it to the human race to literally find anything in that virtual space to incorporate that with.
It's the rule 34 of the metaverse, all right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not trying to be lewd. I'm just saying that's what it is. But, Zuckerberg, I don't know if Zuckerberg's thinking about, these things. Billionaires, they hang out in some weird circles. And like you said, maybe he's bored or maybe he's trying to distract people because he had some not so squeaky clean friends and he doesn't want to, have to lose his job as CEO.
What kind of friends?
I mean, you never know who you're associating with, or maybe you do. Maybe you are friends with political connections. Maybe it's money. Maybe you like to fly on jets to private islands, and then things happen.
Bro, you can't even say private island anymore without it being like that whole idea of private island is so tarnished and tainted. It's gone. It's done. Barclays CEO Staley to stand down following the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. You can't even say private island. When you say private island, all I think about is Epstein. That's it. And which sucks because private islands are supposed to be the bastion. I always think
of the island of Dr. Moreau. Like, I'm always thinking of, like, when I hear private island, I think like hunting humans. I don't know why. Maybe it's the movie.
Like the most dangerous game.
You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I heard private island and I automatically assume like there's somebody being murdered there. Like, I don't know why, but it is what it is. But in this case, Epstein is coming back to haunt these guys again, and he's not the first. He's one of three big ones. One of them was the former CEO of L Brands, which is the parent company of Victoria's Secrets, and there's been a couple others. And this investigation is getting heat, and everybody's stepping down ahead of it. And I think, tinfoil hat, I think that because that Epstein's partner in crime, or whatever you want to call her, got captured or got extradited, and she's in custody. And if everybody's stepping down, she might have been spilling some beans, and there's some stuff coming out soon.
So this NASDAQ article, obviously the headline says Barclays CEO Staley to stand down following Epstein investigation. This looks like the article is really short. It says Barclays said on Monday that Chief Executive Jeff Staley is to stand down following British regulators' investigations into his dealings with Jeffrey Epstein. Bro, how many is it even possible to get to the bottom of this, or is this just like all the power people in the world are literally never going to let us really know what the hell is true?
Do you think he killed himself?
Bro, how am I supposed to know? Probably not. Probably not, because all this stuff is crazy, and all the signs and all the tinfoil hat people on the internet and all the videos I've seen that describe here's the conspiracy, and can you imagine this person was here going to this island? Probably not. But what the hell, man? How are we supposed to actually know? Well, I mean, what do you think? That he killed himself, or you are obviously you got your tinfoil hat on?
I mean, I could go get the tinfoil hat if I need to, but Here's the thing. I don't see a reason why he would, because there's so many things. Like, number one, he got caught with this stuff before back in the 90s and got off because powerful people made sure that he didn't go to prison, right? And all these things happen, right? Like the guards just happened to disappear. The camera stopped working. Like all this stuff, just all these coincidences. And I feel like, why would he off himself if he didn't know, that he got off before? Why would he not? And he has all this leverage and all this other stuff. So I feel like there's more to. I'm not saying somebody murdered him. I think there's more to the story. Okay, you have that many connections. Now, this has been happening for decades and decades. It's just that now we have the internet, right? That's what changed everything. So before, people disappeared all the time. I mean, 200,000 people a year disappear, and it happens. I mean, we talked about that with the Gabby Petito case last time. People disappear all the time, and nobody knows it. It's just that now with the internet and with people being able to access information, it's becoming harder to do that. And that's why you're seeing less and less big time figures go down, because they'll become martyrs, right? In this case, I think something came up, and I don't know what it is. I mean, you got Prince Andrew over there. He had to resign from being, in the royal family because of his connections. You've got a lot going on right now. And I'll be honest with you, I'm very surprised that this lady hasn't disappeared. I don't know if it's because she's under really good protective custody or because people don't want to make it, more obvious that this is going on. But I think she's squealing, and I think that's why we're seeing these step downs. I think we're going to see a lot more CEOs of big time companies move away.
The next episode we do, episode 5, we need to dedicate 15 minutes minimum to some Epstein stuff, because I think that people would love, people that don't know some of the extent, and I only have brushed the surface with some conspiracy stuff. Generally speaking, when the conspiracy gets too crazy or feels too real or something, I don't know what happens. My brain, I kind of get nervous around it all, and I kind of just shut down, and I'm like, all right, if it's real, I just don't want to know. But listen, I think a lot of people out there would love to know, especially the people that listen to this would love to hear a little bit more about, what's out there. Perhaps some people just don't know, they haven't done the research. So I think we need to dedicate 15, 20 minutes to
do an episode of just conspiracies where I try to convince you.
Yeah, and you could easily convince me. Bro, there are compelling AF arguments out there for so many things. You could convince me, easy money. I think
I'm not talking about like the crazy ones, but I'm talking about like different ones, like, you know, I don't know. We'll talk about it some offline because I think that there's so much out there.
So this CNN article, I'm trying to figure out if there's any meat and potatoes to this. Anything else other than he's just stepping down is says the investigation by the Financial Conduct Authority and the Bank of England's Prudential Regulation Authority was disclosed by Barclays in early 2020 and focused on how Staley had characterized the relationship to his employer. Barclays and Staley were made aware on Friday evening by the FCA and the PRA of the preliminary conclusions of their investigation. It says, in view of these conclusions and Mr. Staley's intention to contest them, the board of Barclays and Mr. Staley have agreed that he will step down from his role as group chief executive and as a director of Barclays.
He's getting out. They're going to pay him off to go away. That's what they're going to do. They're going to be like, listen, dude, this is going to come down hot and heavy. Listen, you made billions here. We'll give you a couple more billion. Just go, because whenever this comes out, we don't want our name drugged through it.
And again, I'm trying to find some meat and potatoes here, obviously, because the headline is the headline. It's sensational. It obviously is crazy. Anything
but
Epstein.
They're not gonna deep dive into that. It implicates too many people. How many of these guys do you think that are multi-billionaire conglomerate companies that own these media companies are going to be implicated in it? They're either going to say it so it, you know, bring the headline out so at least they said it and then bury it, or they're going to like go after somebody else and not talk about the people that are behind it. I mean, that's the way.
I mean, they get what they want, man. You know what I mean? These power players like that, they get what they want. These multi-billionaires. I mean, when you know what I mean? I feel like we can just operate under the assumption that if they want it to be, it's going to be. I mean, just because they're going to buy their way to make it happen. And so that's why all this Epstein stuff, I'm like, listen, are we ever going to actually get to the bottom of this? Are we ever actually going to get any actual information? This is outside of the scope of what we were intending on talking about today, but a good example of this is the lawsuit that's going on between the NFL and the city of St. Louis, which I am aware of because I was a St. Louis Rams fan. I don't know if you've seen anything that's going on with that, but the city of St. Louis is suing the NFL, and it's been going on since 2017. We didn't hear about it. No major news network published a single article about it until very recently, this past month in October. And the only reason why they finally were able to, like, I don't know, greenlight an article on it is because, Jerry Jones and Stan Kroenke pissed off the rest of the owners. And so the rest of the owners said, listen, you're not going to screw us over. And obviously we don't have to do a deep dive talk on it, but they were just basically saying, you're not going to screw us over. We're now going to bring some of this to light. So for 4 years, when all 32 owners were on the same page, we didn't see a single article about anything because they didn't want it out there. And who is more,
do a TLDR for everybody about what you're talking about?
Yeah. So a TLDR of what's going on is the city of St. Louis is suing the NFL for the improper relocation of the St. Louis Rams, which are now the Los Angeles Rams, and the way in which they left. There was a whole bunch of details and policy sort of particulars that the NFL has set forth for relocation. There's a standard for relocation. There's a process for it, and the city.
What happened with the Colts?
Yeah, so the city of St. Louis is saying that the NFL did not follow its relocation guidelines, which of course would leave the city on hook for the stadium that's here, what was Edward Jones Dome. It's now called, I think it's just called like the American Dome or something like that. They renamed it. Obviously, Edward Jones isn't paying for the sponsorship anymore. But they're claiming that the NFL is on the hook for all that cash because they left St. Louis improperly and they went against their own relocation guidelines. And it's actually looking like the city of St. Louis has a case here, and the NFL keeps trying to move it and get a change of venue out of the state of Missouri and out of St. Louis, but it keeps failing. And now there's a whole discovery component with all the emails of the owners. It's a crazy. We could probably actually talk about that next time. We're talking about it enough right now. But my point in saying all this is that the only reason why we're seeing any news articles published on ESPN or wherever is because all of these major, I mean, think about it, ABC, CBS, Fox, NBC, all of these networks are the people that are most beholden to the NFL because they're the ones that are deriving most value from the ad premiums by saying, hey, we're getting the NFL live.
There's so much money with the NFL and
so
with those
much
sports. And It's insane. And like you said, I mean, these guys can make things disappear. I mean, even when it's all over the front page news. I remember Robert Kraft and the whole thing.
Yeah.
They actually paid to have that video wiped from the internet. They didn't get it released. He ended up getting, and it just went away. It just went away.
So
Matt Gaetz with his thing. He's a politician. You know, you're talking about potentially underage girls and stuff like that from a sitting politician. Make it disappear. That's what happens when you have money and power.
And that's like kind of the assumption that I make with the Epstein thing is like, we're never really going to understand what's happening because when these billionaires want something to be, they just make it be. They just pay off the people that, and then so many people, it's not even necessarily just I'm writing a check and making this happen. It's like a power dynamic. It's like a power complex. It's there. So many people are beholden to them for future checks and future money that they just kind of say, hey, yeah, we're just going to kind of do what you want because we have to.
A lot of people will do whatever they have to protect their paycheck. And, you know, in some cases, we're seeing this right now with vaccine mandates, right? I mean, you have the federal government talking about how all federal employees have to be vaccinated. And if you are a private company that has 100 employees or more, you have to have the vaccines or the regular testing, which is also going to go to the courts because this is actually unconstitutional. I'm not saying that people shouldn't have vaccines. I'm not anti-vax in any way. But one of the whole points of our Constitution was written so that the government can't force private citizens to do certain things, right? Without like a congressional, like a law being passed by their representatives. And in this case, we're seeing the government actually tell private businesses that they're forced to do this. But without having that conversation, we're seeing this happen in New York, and this is going to be a very interesting thing to watch. And I think we should keep up with this over the next couple of weeks. And the reason I bring this up is for those who aren't aware, in New York City, which is known to be very, left wing and very progressive, the mayor has said that all municipal employees have to be vaccinated. They're even gotten rid of the exemptions for medical and religious, and it's not a testing thing. You have to be vaccinated. And originally, we saw a huge pushback of about 30% of firemen, police officers, EMTs, trash, sanitation workers say they're not going to do it. Last minute, the clock was striking midnight this weekend. About 90% of people of employees got it, but there's about 10% who aren't. And in New York City, 10% is a lot.
The local ABC,
we're starting to see things.
The local ABC affiliate in New York, ABC7NY.com, published this article. It says 18 fire companies close. Trash piles up amid New York City's COVID vaccine mandate. Coronavirus update for New York. It says, the ongoing battle over New York City's expanded vaccine mandate continues Tuesday, one day after enforcement began for all municipal workers, including the NYPD, FDNY, and Department of Sanitation, the fire department, and the Department of Sanitation there at the end. Officials say 92% of city employees are vaccinated, with several departments improving their numbers Monday. The fire department is now reporting 81% of its employees being vaccinated, with 77% of firefighters, up 2% from Monday. The NYPD has 85% of its force vaccinated, but thousands are still off the job due to their vaccination status. If anybody's listening to this, and you can put in the comments section below, and you're listening to New York, tell us what it's like there right now. If you're there, is trash piling up? I mean, is this? The headline says trash piles up amid New York City's COVID vaccine mandate. Is this really becoming a material? Is there a material difference in how you're seeing the streets be operated, or is this all fluff? What are you hearing?
Trash has been piled up in New York City for decades, but no, I think that there's a lot to unpack with this because, first of all, 90% of firemen or 80%, 90% of police or whatever, when you're saying only 10% are off the job, it doesn't sound like a lot. But when you're talking about, New York City, that's actually a lot of people because their police department's like 30,000 cops or something like that. It's insane. So you're talking about like 3,000 cops off the job, and you're already talking about cops and fire departments that are already underpaid, overworked. You're talking about a job where it's so hard to get police right now to get hired because nobody wants to be a cop anymore, and that's partly to deal with police officers and police unions and the way that they've operated for so long. That's come to light, and now people don't want to be involved in that. But it's already so tough. You've already got young people leaving workforces. You've already got people not getting jobs as it is. We talked about that in a past podcast. So what the department's going to end up doing is, even if you only have 10% that aren't doing it, not only does that leave a lot of coverage of fire, police, and sanitation not being taken care of, but what you're also going to be talking about is overworking who you have left. I mean, how much mandatory overtime are these guys going to have to pull until they quit just because they're not able to do it? And could it be a snowball effect? Now, we'll keep on this, but this actually brings us up to something else, because you know how we were talking about rich and powerful people have more pull? This is something that's very interesting because truckers, right? Truckers are, and this is something I've talked about on my show over the past year, truckers are the key to this whole thing, because truckers who work for companies that have 100 or more employees are not generally known to be very, you know, pro-government, get forced to do anything,
course not,
right?
yeah.
And we're already seeing supply chains just barely getting by. We're so low on truckers after last year when they were all forced to quit or resign or early retire because of, you know, all of the shutdowns. And so now you have we don't have enough truckers. You don't even have close to enough truckers right now. And so the Biden administration has actually met with the union of truckers to say, hey, guys, can we work something out here, because your truckers are going to quit and we're already out of truckers. We can't get store shelves stocked and we can't lose anymore. And so they may actually have to make some kind of adjustment to this. And does that play out, or do they stick firm to it? And if they don't, what's the ramifications for the global economy, the national economy, and will they actually institute the National Guard? That's something they've been floating around as well.
So it says Engine 294 in Richmond Hill was one of 18 fire companies out of service Monday. As fire department leaders hustle to find a way to address the shortages, fire union officials are pressing Mayor Bill de Blasio for time to comply with the vaccine mandate. Beyond Queens, staffing shortages are being felt across New York. They knew this was coming. Uniformed Firefighters Association President Andrew Ansbro said, I pray it doesn't cost the life of a citizen or a firefighter. With so many firefighters remaining unvaccinated or out sick, Ansbro says that engine and ladder companies are riding short, and that's a danger to the city. The union pushing for more time for its members to get vaccinated. Blasio, however, is sticking with the mandate, saying 2,000 more city employees got vaccinated in the past 24 hours, but many are still seeking accommodations. It's interesting when you say it's unconstitutional, right? Like, because I feel like there's kind of like, people say it's unconstitutional to force everyone to get a vaccine, but we are also operating in this time that's completely unprecedented for anyone that's currently alive. And we all just want to do our best and stay safe, right? But it's also
make an argument of whether it's right or wrong. I'm talking about based on the way it's written in our country's constitution. And the reason that it was written that way, and I'm just saying what the past is because they were afraid that it's a slippery slope, right? The slippery slope argument is what everyone uses, right? Like if you take a little bit, they take a mile, right? And a lot of people will look at what Germany and did in World War II, right? Like with the Jewish people, like they didn't just walk in and take all the Jews, right? Like they didn't go in and just put them all on trains because they couldn't. They were armed at the time. So what we ended up seeing is the Nazis pretended to be Polish and do an attack on German towns, or pretend to be Jewish and do that, and then they blamed that. Then they went in and they slowly started taking away. They took away automatic rifles. They said nobody needs that. Then there was another false flag shooting, and then they said, okay, we need to take away long barrel and automatic weapons. And then they just kept doing it until they eventually banned everybody from having guns. And then when the Germans came in, they had all the guns. The Jewish people had no guns because slowly but surely their rights were taken away, and they were put off into the concentration camp. I'm not saying that that's what's happening here. God, please do not think that I'm saying that this is like Nazi Germany in any way with having vaccines mandated. I'm saying that that's kind of where the argument comes from that side. Like, if you give a little, will they take a lot? And so that's why so many people on certain sides of the political spectrum have a very all or nothing take on this. And according to our Constitution, the Constitution, like I'll give you a great example. Two big misunderstandings in our government. One is people think we're a democracy. The United States is not a democracy. A democracy, according to our founders, was a very dangerous form of government. And the reason they said that means 51% of people can force the other 49% to do whatever they want, right? And so they were scared of that. And you hear that all the time. Like people are saying, well, why do we only have, why doesn't California, New York, and Illinois get to decide what the whole country does, because that's where most of the population lives? Like, why don't they get more representation? And there's an argument for that. I understand it, because you want the majority of people. You don't want, a place with 5 people to decide what everybody does. But at the same time, what happens if the people who are in California, New York, and Illinois find out that Texas, Georgia, and Oklahoma get to decide what they have to do because they have more population now? All of a sudden, it gets flipped on its head. So there's always that understanding. And then we're not a democracy. We're a constitutional republic. And a constitutional republic means that we're a democracy, but that that everyone has a voice. So they always say that a democracy is two wolves and a sheep deciding what's for dinner, and a constitutional republic is two wolves and a sheep deciding what's for dinner, but the sheep is armed, right? Like, so that's what they always say. Now that I've gotten into that, where it goes into the constitutional thing with this is that, we've always said that there has to be a separation between the government and the people. And the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments to the Constitution, a lot of people think that is rights given to us from the government, right? Like, the government allows us to have the freedom of speech and the freedom of religion, and the government allows us to the freedom of bear arms, the freedom to the no. That's the misunderstanding. The Bill of Rights is actually telling the government what they have no right to deal with, right?
Touch.
Like, it's literally saying, hey, these 10 things, we the people, of the people, by the people, us, government, you can't fuck with these 10 things. We're born with these rights. That's not what we give it. And so people misunderstand that. Now, there's a whole other conversation to be had about, should it be changed? Should it be amended? Sure. Get all the states together, get the 2/3, do it. They said, hey, this piece of paper is not perfect. Things are going to change.
Yep.
And if you want to change them, get together as a population, 2/3 of the states get together and you can amend it. And it can be done. But now back to the vaccine thing. I'm not against vaccines and stuff like that. I'm just saying that I can see where that argument of this is the government overstepping its reach, because this is the government telling private citizens and private businesses something they're forced to do. Now, the other argument is, but if it's for the good of all people, then is it okay? But then that comes that slippery slope argument again.
I mean, in New York, they're talking about a vaccine mandate and this is who they quote here. They quoted the fire department and the Department of Sanitation. I mean, what about like on let's just imagine, just use your brain here, and imagine like you're on a rocket or you're up in space, and the Department of Sanitation says, hey, we can't get someone to fix your toilet. How would that make you feel?
I mean, it depends on how long I was going to be in that rocket. If I was alone, I wouldn't care. I don't mind watching my little turd float in the air. But if I'm with other people, that's going to be very uncomfortable. And I guess there'd have to be some kind of alternatives. What do you think that would be?
A diaper, I guess. An adult diaper, or as CNN would like to call it, backup undergarments is what they call it.
Backup undergarments.
Undergarments. So CNN.com published an article that says leaky SpaceX toilet problem will force astronauts to use backup undergarments is what they're calling it. That's a diaper. That depends. Issues with the toilet on board SpaceX's Crew Dragon capsule will leave a group of 4 astronauts without a bathroom option during their hours-long trip back home from the ISS aboard the 13-foot wide capsule this month. Instead, the crew will have to rely on undergarments. Steve Stitch, NASA's commercial crew programmer manager, told reporters Friday night, bro. They got to come back and they're wearing diapers. They were just up there doing some of the most heady, some of the smartest stuff that humans can do, and they are coming back in diapers.
I'm just trying to think, like you said, you go through, years of intense academia. You go through education, you go through testing, you go through flight school, you go through all this stuff to become an astronaut. You go into space. You are one of the very few people in the history of this planet to ever reach for the stars, and you're doing, work on billion-dollar stuff. You're this close to death all the time. You're doing the most amazing thing, and your toilet doesn't work. It's like NASA. You be billions of dollars, and now I have to put an adult diaper, and I have to go through the atmosphere to survive to land covered in my own shit.
NASA did not say how long the 4 astronauts will have to be on board their Crew Dragon capsule with an inoperable toilet. So far, only 2 Crew Dragon spacecraft have returned from the ISS with people on board, and the first of those trips took 19 hours, while the second only took 6. So you got to wear a diaper for 19 hours, bro. That's rough. That's rough going. They're not the first astronauts to wear a diaper, though. I don't know about the other one. You were talking about the other one. Who was the other?
Okay, all right. Listen. All right. As you're saying, this is not the first time astronauts have worn diapers. It may be the first time in space, but it's definitely not the first time an astronaut has made the headlines for wearing a diaper. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to date myself a little bit here. But for those of us boomers out there, if you remember about 13 years ago, 14 years ago, this was in the headlines. There was a astronaut, a woman who was, and not just anyone. I mean, this was a very intelligent woman, Miss Nowak. She was in space operating the robotic arm on the International Space Station, or on the shuttle that she was on. And I mean, this is massive. But you know what? Love conquers all. And there was a love triangle. And this lovely lady who was in love with a man who did not love her back decided to get in her car, wear a diaper, and drive nonstop cross country to actually confront the other lady.
But then anything on that? Yeah, I mean, so this article on DenverPost.com says diaper-wearing astronaut jailed in love triangle plot, and the details are that a NASA astronaut who was arrested after driving hundreds of miles to confront a romantic rival, or actually, I should say that they were brought up on attempted kidnapping and they were released on some sort of bond when this happened. When was this?
2007. And let me ask you something, Alex. We were talking about men and sex and horniness before. Have you ever been so horny that you even contemplated, we were talking getting about men in a diaper and driving 600 miles to confront another dude over the girl that you want to bang?
This isn't horniness, though, bro. This is something else. The kidnap. You're talking about kidnapping. This is not horniness.
She's trying to disappear her rival. She wants her man.
I know.
And her man is with another woman.
But this ain't horniness, though. This is something else. This is like...
I mean, there's probably some mental issues there.
Yeah,
but
this is a lot of stuff here.
But seriously, I'm thinking to myself, you can't stop at a rest stop for 5 minutes. You have to save that 5 minutes by taking a dump on yourself. And my question is what is your backup plan if you go to confront this girl and the guy who you're in love with happens to be there too, and you show up covered in your own shit? How is that going to make him want you anymore? Like, I mean, obviously, we were blinded by love oftentimes, but holy hell.
You're going to take a dump on yourself.
I mean, don't get me wrong. We've all had that moment where we pulled over to the grocery store and we duck walked down the aisle to the back of the store and didn't make it. I mean, we've all had that story.
I don't know about didn't make it
or not.
I don't know
whether we want to admit it or not. We've all had a little bit come out. Okay.
Listen, I agree with the first part of that story. I don't know about the didn't make it. The ending of that story.
Yeah,
we'll
all
see.
right. Yeah, you've never had a problem and didn't quite make it to the bathroom.
If I did, I blocked it out of my memory. And
you blocked it out of your mind. Everyone has had a little leak out at some point in their life.
I did, I blocked it out because I was traumatized by my own self. Let alone I wouldn't be able to drive 19 hours and just do, like you said, taking a dump on myself. It's ridiculous. Okay.
I mean, can I be honest with you? I've been holding in. I've had to piss so bad for the last 30 minutes. I've been holding it in. I was contemplating using this. I haven't used a bottle since I was in Humvees in the military and I had to pee. I've been contemplating this, but I was thinking to myself, if I do that on here, because I happen to, I have a lot.
Go ahead.
Whatever.
Go ahead.
So I was like, what if they see that? What happens? And I'm like, I don't know what to do here. But if I was wearing a diaper right now, and I have a newborn, I have an 11-month-old now who's adorable. Did you see the picture I posted of her? She's so adorable. I would actually go for a diaper right now. So I mean, I'm not ragging on the person.
I'd go for a diaper right now. I need to get that soundbite. I'd go for a stocky. I'd go for a diaper right about now. Where'd you post the picture, by the way, on Twitter?
No, it's in our the Madrina's Discord.
In the Madrina's Discord. Okay. Is that posted in your Discord?
Maybe, but probably not. It's probably somewhere where you can't access.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I have nothing against somebody doing that. Like I said, I have been the worst I ever did was I was in high school and I was still I think I was still a virgin at the time. I was like 15 or 16, and there was a girl. I was in a children's home, and there was a girl who was also children's home, so she wasn't quite ready right in the head, and she like put it on that she wanted to do something. So I got off work one night on a school night and drove 4 hours to where she lived on a Sunday night to try to get some, and ended up not. I'll tell you the story sometime. And ended up getting blue balled and drove 4 hours back in time to make school in the morning without getting laid. So listen, I've been there, lady. I've been there.
That's not even remotely close. That's you making an honest attempt. This lady who's trying to kidnap someone. I commend you for your attempt at the very least.
I've been horny enough to consider kidnapping somebody, but not actually follow through with it. Wow, that actually made me sound like a serial killer.
Guys, this is all we have time for this week. The last thing that we're going to wrap up with, Stocky, give us your what is it? Your 9.5 plus pick.
All right. So for those of you guys who are new to the stream, because we are both football people here, we have a little thing where I have to choose a underdog team who is supposed to lose by 9.5 or more points to cover. The last time I did it, I actually got it. I forgot who it was that I picked. I believe it was Cincy, right? Cincy to cover.
I think he did. I think it was Cincy 2 weeks ago. Yeah, against the Ravens.
Yeah, and they covered, and we actually got that one. This week we have a lot of tight games. The only three options I have are Indy and New York Jets. New York Jets are
that's your pick. That's your pick.
Then I have Jacksonville, my team, which is getting absolutely drug through everything here. They're 14.5 positive, and then we have the only other one is going to be, I think that's it.
I think that's it.
Just those two.
The Jets is your pick, man.
Dallas, Denver.
Oh, what's that at? 9.5?
9.5.
9.5. Okay.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't bet on my team because that only ever results in pain and suffering. So what I'm gonna have to go with is either Indy and Indy and
then the
New York Jets.
You got to take them, man. The Jets have been looking. They don't look that bad. I mean, they look bad. I mean, they're the Jets, but I mean, they don't look 10.5. Are you getting 10.5? I got CBS Sports published an article here that says Colts minus 14. I don't know where it is.
10.5 on CBS NFL right now.
CBS NFL. Okay, it obviously dramatically moved because 14's intense here, right? So it's moving down. The Jets is your pick. It's going to keep moving down. I'd imagine it moves to 8.5, all the way to 8.5. I'd pick them now if I was you at 10.5. I think the Jets have been looking fine. Mike White has been looking fine. Michael Carter's a really productive running back. Elijah Moore has been getting really active in the passing game. And the Colts. I'm
going to be honest with you. I'm not following football as much as I used to because of how much work I'm doing. But I'm going to be honest with you. I just sent you a DM of my Halloween outfit, by the way, if you want to bring that up, what I went as this year. You want
this up? Oh my God. Oh no, this ain't you, bro.
No, but that's the outfit I went with. I went as Urban Meyer this year. It's gonna be tough. I don't know, man. New York Jets and Indy or
no, the hands are off here. The hands are a little higher than where Urban was. Urban was a little.
But see, I'm not a coach looking for a tight end.
Urban was a little lower. Well,
did the spreads just change because now I only see. I'm gonna be honest with you. I kind of like Denver over Dallas here. I feel like Denver's at home, right?
Is that a home game this week for them? Listen,
over under 50. I agree with you. I think 10.5 is a lot for the Jets, Indy, especially since Indy's kind of trash right now. And I think that it's going to be a close game. However, it's the Jets, and as a Jaguars fan, I understand what the Jets are like. So I'm probably going to regret this, but since it's just on the line, I'm gonna go with Denver to cover the 9.5 against Dallas.
That's bold because Dallas is looking really good this year. The offense has come to play.
I agree, but Dallas has been known to give their team, their fans, hope before imploding, and Denver is a quick team, and I think that they could do some mix it up a little bit for the passing game. Dallas does not have a strong running game, and I think that if they can fly around the ball and some good zone coverage, they could limit Dallas to have to do some more runs. And if that's the case, I think that that's a little bit closer of a game.
We're gonna end here. I'm moving off the Urban Halloween costume. Very good costume, by the way, Stocky. If you did dress up like that, very good. Very on brand for a Jags fan. And very hilarious. But we're gonna end
on brand for a Jags fan. It was new because normally I just go with a paper bag over my head.
We're gonna go. Which is unoriginal, so I like the originality on this one. If you did dress up like this, if not, this guy in this picture gets it. This guy, I think I already clicked out of it. Either way, we're gonna pull up the Zuckerberg Sweet Baby Ray's honey barbecue sauce. Great outgoing image.
Can we play "Smoking These Meats" as our outro song? With that picture,
yes, and hold on, is there Ryan? We're gonna have to put "Smoking These Meats" in there.
I could link it to you. You could just play it in the background.
I could play it right now, but we could also have Ryan do it. He can do it after Ryan, the fact. He can deal with the audio levels. Ryan, cue it up right here. "Smoking These Meats." Cue it up. The Zuck, hey everyone, coming out with Metaverse wants you to play online with your friends. In a lot of ways that Stocky went into detail about, also about a lot of different ideas there. If you guys want to just reverse in this podcast and go back and just hear the detail.
My first ever coffee grinder.
Is it a burr grinder?
It's a coffee grinder. I don't know what it is. I've always used my little magic bullet, and it's always worked perfectly, but it's so loud and it doesn't make enough. So I finally bought one because I'm partnered with a coffee company and they sent me a bunch of beans, and they're pretty good. I feel like I could help them out and make a really good one if they want to work with it. But don't you dare do it! Don't you be shameless and plug your company's stuff here.
Wait, hold on. I'm actually going to not show this. I'm actually going to not show this right now. We'll talk about it next week. We'll talk about, we had a lot going on in the world of coffee over the past week or so.
Did you see that a couple more coffee companies have actually gone public? Did you see Bros?
Is that correct?
I didn't see Bros.
Bros is up like 200% since they IPO'd.
Is that Dutch Bros?
They've been killing it since they IPO'd.
People love that. Hey, up there in the Northwest, man, people love that brand.
Yeah, they've gone public now, and then there was just an announcement that Black Rifle Coffee Company is actually going to go public too. I'm thinking that's a good buy.
Guys, thank you all for listening this week. Make sure. I'm not gonna give him the time. I'm not gonna give him the time today, guys. Thank you for listening this week. Make sure you follow this show on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and all the other major socials. Guys, also go follow Stocky on Twitch, on Twitter, on all the social media platforms that he knows how to use and that he actively does use. Follow Stocky on also YouTube. Follow Stocky on YouTube. Stocky's YouTube content is great. Guys, you can find me in the mornings as well on Twitch, AL3X. You can come say hi to us on our live streams. If you're listening to us on the podcast for the first time, definitely come say hi either time that either of us are live on Twitch. But for those of you that have been spending time listening to this podcast, thank you guys so much for the love and support, giving us a view, giving us a listen, giving us a subscription on any of the platforms. You guys are amazing. This is going to be the run to 100 episodes for us. Love doing this. We're going to converting it. We will convert it to weekly at some point. Bi-weekly for now. Stocky, you have any parting thoughts?
No, I'm just looking forward to smoking these meats.
These meats.
Then other than that, yeah, listen, I'm glad. One thing we forgot to talk about, and I just posted a YouTube video of it, was FaZe Clan going public as well. I think that's something we should take on next week.
Hit on that next week.
Video on it. My YouTube video literally just dropped a couple hours ago. If you want to get caught up on it, otherwise, I will. We'll talk about it on.
Talk about the next week, next podcast, whenever we record episode 5. Thank you all for being here for episode 4. One love, everybody. We'll see you next time.
All right.
Bye.
Smoking meat, baby, give me the Zuck, give me the Zuck. Stock. Say my name, baby, give me the Zuck, give me the Zuck. Stock. Smoking meat, baby.
Smoke go ho.
Here you can get the song, so while you're smoking meats, you can sing along.
Have a great day and a great life. Tell us what the song will find next. Here's the last one.
Where's my super suit?
What?
Where's my super suit?
What?